Day 2. Here we go. You will need your math packet. You will need a pencil. You will need the thing you're watching this on, obviously. And today we are working on equivalent fractions. 15.2. So, get ready, get set up, here we go. Hey there, hi there, ho there again. So we're talking about equivalent fractions today. And we talked about this a little bit before you left, but an equivalent fraction is fractions that are equal. Equivalent, equal. And the easy way to figure out an equivalent fraction is just to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the top number. By the top number. No, by the same number. Sorry, by the same number. So this one, 1/3, it's equivalent if I multiply both by 2. 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6, 2 6. So that's saying if I had a picture and I was dividing it up into 1/3, let's say it's a candy bar and I'm dividing into thirds. Little Johnny gets 1/3 of it, right? Now if I split it in half again, if I times it by 2, now he has 2 6. He has the same amount of candy bar. It's just broken up differently. So an equivalent fraction is just equivalent pieces, equal pieces. So like this one, times the top and bottom number, numerator and denominator by 3. So 1/3 is equal to 3 ninths. 1/3 is equal to 4 twelfths. It doesn't matter. I can multiply the numerator and the denominator by any number, 1,000,000, 100, 2, 6, 12. It doesn't matter as long as I multiply them both by the same thing. So 3 sevenths. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 2 is 14. We'll do this one quick. Together I'll give you times to think. So you have 3 times 3. Yep, you got it. It's 9. 7 times 3. I'll give you a little more time to think about that one, so you can count by 7s if you need to. Mm-hmm. 21. Same thing with this one. 3 times 4 is 12. 7 times 4 is 28. You guys take a second, do this one. Shouldn't take you very long to do that one. Multiplying 2/5 by 2. If you got 4/10, spot on. So, that's the top. You don't have to worry about those two. You can do them if you want. You don't have to. Numbers 10 through 15. You're multiplying the numerator and denominator by 2, 3, and 4. So every time you're using 2, you're using 3, and you're using 4. So this one's going to be times 2. This one's going to be times 3. This one's going to be times 4. So 2/3. Multiplying both by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? Same thing up here. I'm multiplying the numerator and denominator by 2, by 3, and by 4. I'll give you a second to do that one yourself, and then I'll write the answers in. You can see how you did. If you finish it, go ahead and go on to this one. We'll do those two. So you just pause the video, but that's fine. And draw a picture while you do it. Okay, off the screen. So you should have 6 tenths, 9 fifteenths, and 12 twentieths. This one you should have 2 eighths, 3 twelfths, and 4 sixteenths. Okay. You can do those if you like. You do not need to. You go to the other side now. So the rest of 15.2. This looks a little more complicated, but really it's not. You are just figuring out what number are they multiplying by for the numerator and denominator, and doing the same thing for the missing number. So like this one, I'm missing my numerator. But I can figure out what it is by saying, how did I get from 4 to 8? What did I multiply by? So obviously 4 times 2 is 8. So I gotta take 1 times 2 to get this number. This one, I have a 3 here, and I'm missing the denominator. Well, 1 times what gets me to 3? 1 times 3. So I'm going to take 4 times 3 to get 12. This one, I'm missing the denominator again. How did I get from 1 to 4? 1 times 4 is 4, so 4 times 4 is 16. How did I get from 4 to 20? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. So I'm going to take 1 times 5. This one I have 6. 1 times what equals 6? Well, 1 times 6 is 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. How do I get from 4 to 28? 4 times 7 is 28, so I'm going to take 1 times 7. Okay? I want you to pause this for a second, do number 2, and then we'll go over the answer. So you hit pause and do the problem. When you unpause it, the answer is going to magically fill in. Okay, do it now. Okay, so you should have 8 tenths, 12 fifteenths, 16 twentieths, 20 25ths, 24 30ths, and 28 35ths. We'll do one more on this page, and that should be number 3, which seems fairly simple too. So pause it, quick figure it out, and come back, bam, they'll all be there. Okay, so 1 half, 2 fourths, 3 6, 4 eighths, 5 tenths, 6 twelfths, 7 14ths. You want to do the rest? You totally can, but you are not required to. Hey, back again. IXL Day 2. Today we're working on P5, P6, and P7. They're all in equivalent fractions. So just to get a little glimpse of what you're going to be doing, P5 is finding fractions using an area model. I'm not even going to click on it. You are just going, you can either multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, or you can look at the picture. So if you have a question, you can get back to me on that. Number 6, using a number line, which I will show you just a couple. Maybe, there we go. So, for number 6, graphing equivalent fractions on a number line. 1/3. Now, as you can see, these aren't divided into thirds. They're in ninths, right? So I have to figure out, okay, 1/3 is how many ninths? So I'm going to think to myself, 3 times what gets me to that denominator? Gets me to 9. Well, I know 3 times 3 is 9. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So if I multiply the denominator by 3 to get to 9, I need to multiply the numerator by 3 to get to 9. Okay? So 1 times 3 is 3. So my number on the number line should be 3 ninths. And I can think about this like, okay, 1/3 is 3 ninths. So I have 1 hop, 2 hops, 3 hops. They're divided into thirds. That makes sense. I'm going to submit that. Okay. 1/4 in the number line, same thing. I'm converting it to eighths. And equivalent fractions are eighths. So how do I get from 4 to 8? Times 2, right? So 1 times what equals 2? 2. So 1/4 is 2 eighths. Let's see if we can jump a level and see what it says. Okay? 1/6 in the number line. This time I don't have all the numbers, but I can think, okay, I see that it's 12ths. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, how many times does 6 go into 12? 6 times what is 12? Well, it's 2, right? So whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do the numerator. So 6 times 2 is 12. So I have to take my 1 times 2. What's 1 times 2? 2. So I need 2 12ths. So I'm going to go 1, 2. That would be 2 12ths. This would be 3 12ths. That's 4 12ths. That makes sense. I'm going to submit that. Okay? And 1/3 of the number line. Same thing. How many times does 3 go into 6? So I'm going from 1/3 to 6. 6. Okay? 3 times 2, right? So I gotta take my 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So I have 1, 2. Submit it. That's what you're doing with that one. And then I'm doing P8 and P7 as well. So let's go back and take a look at those real fast. Okay. So it's graphing them on a number line and then identifying them. So, oops, I forgot to do one. And equivalent fractions, find the missing numerator number. So this is what you did in the paper, so I'm not even going to show you that one either. But P6. So you're just graphing it on the number line. This is what I just did. 1/3 in the number line. How do I get from 3 to 9? This is the one I just did. Sorry. P7 is the one I want to look at because I skipped P5 because that was too easy. Okay. P7. Identify equivalent fractions. Okay. So which fraction is equivalent to 4/12? I'm going to think about, okay, 5/12. No, that's not equal. Because 5/12 is more than 4/12. 1/3. Well, 3 times what gets me to 12? 4. 1 times 4 gets me to 4, so it would be 1/3. The rest of these don't make sense. 5 doesn't go into 12. 1/2. Is 4/2 of 12? No, so it has to be 1/3. 2/10. Well, right away I'm just going to look at the denominators and see if they multiply into 10. No. 1/3 doesn't go into 10. 3 doesn't go into 10. 12 doesn't go into 10. 4 doesn't go into 10. 5 does, so I'm going to think about, okay, 5 times what gets me to 10? 2. 1 times what gets me to 10? 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2/10. So that does make sense, right? Jump a level. 6/8. This one's a little trickier. So how am I getting from 4 to 8? Times 2, right? So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. So that won't work. Okay, thirds. 3 times what? 3 times... Yeah, 3 times nothing goes into 8, but... and 1 times... Yeah, that won't work either. 9/12. Well, I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to think, okay, so I have 8, but I can get smaller than 8 and smaller than 6. This is what I was talking about before you guys left. So I can divide these both by 2 since they're both even numbers, right? 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3, so I have 3/4 now. Which one of these is equal to 3/4? That's a half, so that's not 3/4. This is a half, that's not 3/4. 9/12. So if I take 4 times 2, I get to 12. If I take, what did I say, 3/4? If I take 4 times 3, I get to 12. If I take 3 times 3, I get to 9. So that would be the one that makes sense there. It'd be a little bit trickier. If you get stuck, make sure you read the things in the bottom to help you figure it out. And the last one you're going to work on is P8. And that's finding the missing ones. And that is the one I'm not going to go over. All you're going to do is multiply or divide. Whatever you do to the top, you do the bottom. So, good luck in your Excels. If you have any questions, get a hold of me. You can text me or call me. We have a bunch of people who need some extra help with maybe the dot cam. We can do that later today. So, get to it. You got it. See you later.